Today, we're going to talk about a painting you definitely know, a sky you feel like you've seen before, maybe in a dream. We're diving deep into the story behind one of the most famous pieces of art ever made, Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night. I mean, seriously, you've seen this everywhere, haven't you? On posters, coffee mugs, you name it. That incredible swirling sky, those electric colors, they're just burned into our collective memory. It's so familiar, it's almost like it belongs to all of us. But here's the thing. Behind that beautiful, almost cosmic vision, there's a story of incredible pain and personal struggle. And that story starts in a place you would probably never guess. Where this masterpiece came from is absolutely central to its power. See, this wasn't painted in some fancy studio or out in a peaceful, sun-drenched field. Not even close. Van Gogh's life was this constant, restless search. He finally threw himself into art in his late 20s, and his time down in Arles, France, was just this explosion of creativity. But it all came crashing down with a severe mental health crisis, which led him to check himself into an asylum in 1889. Just let that sink in for a second. This universal image of awe and wonder was painted from inside the walls of a psychiatric hospital. This was his view of the world during one of the darkest, most difficult times of his life. So, to be exact, he was looking out his barred window in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence. This wasn't something he just dreamed up out of thin air. It was based on his actual reality, but seen through his incredibly unique, emotional, and artistic filter. Okay, so how did he take that view and turn it into this? Let's zoom in on the canvas and start to decode the techniques and the symbols that make this painting just so unbelievably powerful. Well, one of the first things that hits you is the texture, right? Van Gogh used this technique called impasto. He was laying the paint on so thick that it literally comes off the canvas. You feel like you could touch it. That's what makes the stars and the moon feel like they're alive, like they're actually pulsing with energy. And then there's this amazing contrast going on. Look up and you've got this explosive, turbulent sky that feels like a direct reflection of his inner turmoil. But then you look down and there's this quiet, calm, orderly village. It's the perfect picture of chaos and peace, all in one frame. It really captures what he must have been feeling, the storm inside him and the quiet serenity he was so desperate to find. The whole painting is also just packed with symbols. That massive cypress tree in the foreground, it's like a dark flame reaching from the earth up to the heavens, connecting the two. The stars and moon, they're not just balls of gas. They feel like a spiritual force. And that little church steeple, it anchors the whole scene, a quiet symbol of community and order that was just out of his grasp. Now, you would think a painting this game-changing would be an instant hit, right? Well, its journey from that asylum room to the walls of a museum was, let's just say, it was a long and winding road. Okay, get this. The person who was least impressed with The Starry Night was Van Gogh himself. He actually saw it as a kind of failure. He believed real art had to come from painting nature directly, from observation. And this piece, painted mostly from memory and imagination inside his room, felt fake to him, more like a weird dream than the truth. And honestly, the public wasn't so sure either, at least not at first. The art world just wasn't ready for that kind of raw emotion and that bold, wild technique. It really took a while for people to catch up to what he was doing. So, for decades, the painting was just kinda around. It was in obscurity. And then 1941 happened. This was the year that changed everything. MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, acquired it. And that was huge. Suddenly, it wasn't hidden away anymore. It was on a world stage, accessible to millions of people. It finally had a permanent, prestigious home where everyone could see it, study it, and finally appreciate it for the absolute masterpiece that it is. And from that point on, its legacy was sealed. So let's talk about the incredible ripple effect this one painting has had on the world ever since. The influence has been, well, it's been immeasurable. It's one of the most reproduced images in history, for sure. But it's way more than that. It's become a global symbol that sparks really important conversations about the link between creativity and mental health. It's this powerful proof that something breathtakingly beautiful can come from our deepest struggles. And today, if you go to MoMA, you'll see it hanging right there among the other giants of modern art. And when you see it next to works by his contemporaries, you really get it. You see just how radical, how ahead of his time he was. He wasn't just painting a night sky. He was painting a whole new way of seeing the world. Which kind of leaves us with this one big, powerful question. This painting came from a place of profound pain and isolation. So how on earth did it become this universal symbol of hope? I think it's just a testament to the incredible power of art to take our struggles and turn them into something beautiful, something transcendent, something to think about the next time you find yourself looking up at a dark, swirling, starry night.